Hello and welcome back to the Toolbox Talks for Electricians podcast, where we help electricians reduce stress, gain back time and earn more money. And today I'm going to talk to you about the tree of customers. If you imagine there's a tree, before you start, okay, this is not a tree, it's a plant, but it's a bit of a small area to get a tree in here. But we've got this tree and it's got all these customers. We've got to find, there's plenty. But then what about the roots? Every single little one of these can also be a customer. And here's the thing. You think all the electricians were out there, we're doing jobs, we're wiring lights, we're wiring houses, we're doing EV chargers, we're doing all sorts in people's properties or on industrial commercial sites. And we sit there thinking, right, I want to grow my business. How am I going to get more customers? Well, that answer's right in front of you. If you imagine every customer is like a little seed, and if you nurture that seed, then that is going to grow a whole world of opportunities. So I'm going to dive into some ways that you can help with your customers that you already have, which are these little seeds that can help you grow your business to be even bigger and better. So are you ready to grow your customer tree? Let's dig in. So let's start with the seed, the original customer, your first customer, which you should treat like gold. A lot of people say that the customer is always right. Well, yeah, however, that is true. But I think as a tradesman, you think the customer is always important. Let me give you an example. So I got called once to this garage. Basically, they were fixing big lorries in there and they had a 3-phase supply, which the isolator was knackered for their compressor. So they needed to get the compressor up and running. So I got a call out to go out there and fix the isolators to the compressor. All I needed to do was get a new isolator, change the compressor. Basically, it had its day and it was done. So I had to replace that isolator, get the compressor up and running, and that saved their business, I don't know, probably saved them thousands because I got out there that day and did it the same that day. And they were more than happy. I did a lovely job, nice and neat, very efficient as well, turned up within the hour, got that job done. And yeah, what's that job? Couple of £100. And I didn't think nothing of it. But I got on well with that customer. There was a new customer that I think found me through a builder, which is another way to grow your business, to be friends with other tradesmen. I think they found me through a builder. And that builder gave them my number. And then I went out there and said, yep, I can sort that out easy. And for an electrician, I think some people look at it and think, you need a good electrician to do that. That's a 3-phase rotary isolator. And if you're an electrician, a 3-phase rotary isolator should be a walk in the park. Should be nice and easy, a straight swap over. As long as you don't get the phases mixed up the wrong way around and the compressor goes the wrong way around and sucks. Well, it wouldn't do that. But you know what I mean? If you get it right, then yeah, the customer's going to be really happy. So I took the old isolator away, well basically just put it in the bin for them and just cleared up after myself. And trust me, I know electricians are not renowned for clearing up, but do that little thing, it does help, trust me. And time went on, I didn't think nothing of it. I got paid, it was fantastic. Until a couple of weeks later, that person phoned me up and she goes, Ben, I've got this friend of mine that's building a house and he needs an electrician. Do you mind if I pass your number over? Well, I get that call all the time and I don't understand why people just don't go, yes, pass my number over, it's fantastic. I love doing work where I get paid, it's great. And they were great customers and I assumed these other ones would be great customers too. So I said, yeah, pass my number over. And basically that guy was building a brand new house. That house was brilliant. It sold for 1.2 million, I think, in the end after he finished that job. So that was quite a big job to get out of one customer, which was my first gold seed. And it escalated into another customer. And I tell you what, it didn't end there. It turned out that the customer that I did the workshop for, where I did the isolator, they also had a couple of houses they rent. And maybe a couple of properties that they rent out for commercial use. Basically, they used me all the time after that. You would have thought having all these properties that they've probably got electricians that they use all the time. But it's not necessarily that they get on with that electrician. So they started calling me for everything. So that one customer that I got turned into a shed load of work. And that's how it all begins. From one customer, that one little seed, if you treat them fantastically, like they're the only customer in the world, they're the best customer you've ever had, I just treat everybody the same, whether they're rich, poor, whether it's a £1,000 job, whether it's a £10,000 job, treat them all the same, because you never know where that seed's going to actually grow. And some electricians, they might get into their mind that they think now they've done this £1.2 million house, it's done and dusted, nothing's ever going to go wrong. I did a good job and I've been paid, so I doubt these customers are going to ring me again. Mistake to maker. Don't ever think that. Because you've done such a fantastic job with that house, then I guarantee you that that customer's got family and they've got friends. And they're going to, word of mouth sort of thing, they're going to tell all their friends and family that whenever the electrician is mentioned, so who did the electrician in this house? These lights are beautiful and I love the way not the way they're switched, you know what I mean? But then the way that it's done, it works efficient and fantastic, and the LED lights maybe you've put in, or how you've positioned the lights, or how you've positioned the sockets and the things you've thought of when designing that installation. The little things, the little details matter. So every customer that you have, even if you think, yeah, I probably won't get any more work out of this because I'm finished this job now, they're done and dusted, they're moved in and they're well happy. Never think that. There is plenty of customers to carry on from that one customer. And that is where the magic happens, because you don't have to spend thousands of pounds on maybe marketing, on Google ads or anything like that, or Facebook ads. I don't necessarily believe that they're a fantastic way to grow a business. Word of mouth, yes, it is the best way to grow a business. And if you can position yourself to be that electrician that everyone mentions when electrician comes up in conversation, then you're going to be inundated with work forever. And one little thing you can do just before you finish the job, because a lot of people, they finish the job, even if it's just changing a light, they change the job, get out there, got to get on to the next job, got to earn my day's money basically. Don't do that. Take just that little bit of time for when a customer says, yes, do you fancy a cup of tea before you go? Yeah, I wouldn't mind a cup of tea. And that will give you the opportunity to have a chat with them, to say, yeah, I've been up and running for 20 years and I do my qualifications and I've been an electrician for so long. Maybe to get them to know you a little bit, to grow that sort of know, like and trust, and they'll sort of like you a lot more to be able to recommend you to family and friends. They'll be able to say, yeah, check out Ben, he's a nice guy. He can chat for, well, I think I can sit there talking for as long as I want sometimes, really. Sometimes I go to Bill's houses where I sit there and I talk for longer than it takes to do the job. And you can do a little bit of a market research yourself. You can ask the customer, so, well, where did you get my number from originally? Just out of interest, to find out who is saying all these nice things about you, who's recommending you to who's recommending you to all these family and friends that you're getting people to call you up. And you can suggest it as well. You could say, would you recommend me to any family and friends? The same as the way that I was recommended to you through your friend. Just put that idea in their head. And, well, no doubt, if you've done a good job, they'll say, yeah, definitely, we'll pass your number on. And that'll keep you in their mind as well when electrician is mentioned once again. And then if I go back to where I was talking about the roots, your roots of your customers from this tree, every customer is not necessarily the same. Some customers might take a little while longer to maybe trust you or get to that know, like and trust sometimes, because there can be some cold customers that are basically, you're in their house to do their work, now get out of here when you're done. But then there'll be one time where possibly their oven doesn't work or their heating's gone off and they've got a problem. They'll call you up, and if you can say, right, yeah, I'll come at the end of the day to get it back on for you because I know it's cold. And that little thing, they'll really appreciate that. And I can guarantee you, the person that you go around to fix their heating and get it back on, they'll become your best friend. And that will help grow the know, like and trust sort of factor with them enough to tell somebody a story at work about, my heating went off last night, the bleeding thermostat didn't work. Nah, it's all right, I know this electrician Ben, he come round, he sorted it out the same night. So I'm not without heating. Because if a customer's got a family where they've got children, and if the heating goes off and maybe the boiler doesn't activate, something like that, then the house is going to be cold. And you can guarantee someone will be moaning. Their kids will be cold in bed. And you don't like your kids being cold in bed. You might tell them to put a couple of jumpers on, put a few pairs of tracky bottoms on in bed, and you'll be fine. But It's not convenient. You don't want the kids to have to wear all their clothes to go to bed. You want it to be nice and cozy. So if you can think, right, I'll come round there and I'll fix your heating for you, get it up and running once again, that person, that customer is going to think a lot more of you than if you can say, right, I'll book it in for next Friday. Is that okay? Because you can guarantee you they'll book you in, but they'll go and find someone else that can come around sooner. And it does happen on occasion that possibly you go around there, you fix the thermostat, you replace the thermostat, and it's fine. But then it happens again, maybe a day later. Don't ignore your phone. Act as though it's a challenge. Basically, yeah, okay, we figured out there was something wrong with that thermostat because I tested it and it didn't work. But now there's something else gone wrong. So make sure you're efficient for that customer and you can't just say, look, I don't know what's wrong with it. It's a nightmare to me. I'm not clever enough to find out. Give up sort of thing. Once you've been paid, a lot of electricians do this. They go around there, they find out it's a little bit more complicated than they anticipated, and they're sort of blank, leave their phone, gone. If you're not sure, figure it out. You're an electrician. Process of elimination, and think back to when you went to college to get that fault rectified. Every electrical system with two-way switching, heating, wiring, and once you get your head around it, it's relatively easy, I think. So concentrate on getting that job done. Then the next one will be a lot easier. And honesty is your best policy. I've been round to a customer's house before where they said, yeah, this light doesn't work. And any customer, if one light doesn't work, they assume straight away, that's going to be easy, that's going to be cheap. And this customer, unfortunately, I went round there and I took a few floorboards up to figure out why they'd lost the neutral to the light. Yeah, they'd have rats. Rats were in the house, and after I looked round, you could understand why. It was a bit of a state. But I had to explain to them, look, there's no point in me repairing this cable because you've got rats. You're going to have to spend a bit of money to get the rats out, and I'm going to have to rewire the whole downstairs of the lighting. So be honest with them, because I didn't want to just repair that light, get out there, and I can guarantee you a day or two later, it could be a year to a day to an hour, it could be any amount of time, there's going to be more damage to that cable where the rats have been gnawing at it. For some reason, rats like PVC insulation. I ain't got a bleeding clue why, but it winds me up. If you've got rats in your house, they're going to chew through the cable. Maybe because it's a little bit warm sometimes, maybe because it's different to dust. I don't know. But rats will eat cables. I haven't got a clue why. And then if they've been gnawing at it, it deteriorates over time, especially if it's been going on forever. They'll gnaw at certain places and parts, and especially if they've gnawed straight through to the copper, yep, that's going to pop your fuse and, cause a fault in the long run. And all these little things are parts where basically it turns into something that you can't turn off. If you're nice to one customer, that first seed, and then they recommend you to other customers, then they're going to recommend you to other customers, and so on. It's still going to start grow your tree of customers in effect, and that's something you can't stop. That is just going to carry on, and all of a sudden you'll be getting calls off people that maybe don't even know where they got recommended. Like if you can ask them, say, well, who recommended me? I don't know. I've had your number in my phone for a little while because someone mentioned you as a good electrician a year ago, so I stored it. And this is all about making a good impression, or maybe doing a good job, basically, and while you remember, you'll stick in that customer's mind, especially if someone has a barbecue maybe and they go around the house, because normally people have barbecues after they've had a lot of work done, maybe their garden landscaped or their kitchen extension done, and then people look around, they love to talk about how much money they've spent. I've got these LED dimmable lights, I've got this track lighting underneath here, I've got plinth lighting, oh, this one changes colour, look. And it always comes to a question, well, who did that? And if they say, Ben, he's an electrician, you can have his number, because more likely because one person's got it, then another person's got to want it. It's a sort of a keep up with the Joneses type of thing. I've been around people's house before and they've said, oh, you've been round to my neighbour's house and you did some lovely colour changing lighting in their bedroom. Could you do that for me? Yes, I've got a fantastic idea that maybe could go extra and use it with Alexa possibly as well. So little things like that you can add along, and they'll appreciate that. I know it sounds like a bit of an upsell sometimes when you say to people, yep, you could do this LED track lighting, it's a bit better. You could have cob lighting, you could have the option, which is basically better than your neighbours. If you say that your neighbour's got normal lighting and this is a cob lighting one where you can't see the dots whatsoever, I think, mine's going to be better than next door's. they'll more than likely go for it. They'll spend that extra 500 quid. And being a fantastic electrician to your customers, basically that's maybe not the only way, because you can also say to a customer, how did you find me? If they say, I found you on Google, you can say, right, would you mind leaving me a review? Because that is another fantastic way to grow your tree of customers, sort of thing, is to get Google reviews. Because the more reviews you get, the more Google will pump you up to the top once someone searches for an electrician in that area. It's happened to me recently. I've been called out a few times, and then I've said to them, okay, would you mind if I knock a fiver off? Would you leave me a review? They're more than happy. Even if I didn't knock the fiver off, they would have been more than happy to leave me a review, because I've treated them fantastically and been nice and been friendly, and treat every customer like, normally I think of like an elderly person. If you treat an elderly person like you treat your granddad or your nan, and they're going to respect that, and obviously recommend you to all their family and friends, especially because a grand person, they've got daughters, they've got grandkids, they've got friends that, they're retired now, so they sit around in the garden talking about things, especially if there's a guy, they can say like, yes, I had all this LED lighting done, it cost me £1,000. They love to boast to family and friends. This is what customers do. And I do think that the great thing is that you'll never ever know where these customer referrals lead you. Because I did a little brick built house out in Wales once. That was a good job. I had to go all the way to Leeds, where I'm in the Midlands, to change a fuse board because he didn't trust any electricians up there. And he was from down here, which is fine. I've been out to the coast in a place called Mumsby in Norfolk area, because he didn't know any electrician that he could trust out there. He'd rather me to come there, get it done, because it was a new house and that's what he wanted me to do. Like, he wants someone he can trust in their house and to get it done. So once you build a bit of trust up with a customer, they can move wherever and get you to come do the work. And if I go back to that first customer, my first seed that I told you about at the beginning of this podcast, that I went round to fix a three-phase isolator in their garage. Well, I've kept in contact and I've done no end of work for them over the years. And over the years, they've grew into building businesses. And they've got 2 basically storage container yards now. And yes, they want lights in their storage container yards. They need spurs for basically the cameras that they're putting up everywhere. They need the office at the storage container yard wiring. And this was no end of work that carries on and escalates, because also on one of these storage container yards, there was a flat that also came with the land. So that needed a complete rewire. This is the thing. You don't know where these customers are going to come up with the next job. You don't understand why. These same customers, they've just went and bought a pub. But with the pub, there's some land, so they're going to be building on the land. This is the thing. It escalates into no end of work the more customers you get. And with these jobs that you're doing, I've worked on site, inside maybe rewiring this bungalow, and there was a painter and decorator in there. He took my number. I got a load of work out of the jobs that he recommended me to. The general builder that was in there, he took my number. I got loads of work out of the customers or the builders that he recommended me to as well. So this is the thing. It just escalates sort of out of control in a way where you keep getting calls. The thing is, I will say this, that you will get calls and inundated off a lot of people, but not everybody wants to pay for your services. They maybe want a friend to come and fix it for free. I have before been called up by someone to say, look, I just asked for an electrician off of a mutual friend or mutual customer that we know, and I just want my lamp fixing. End of the day, for me to go round there, check what I need to fix this lamp, and then go and repair it, you might as well have bought a new lamp. So yeah, sometimes it's not really worth it. You could be a nice person, but yeah, you can't do that all the time. If they were going to have their house rewired, then chucked in a lamp there, so look, can you fix this? I'll be more than happy to fix a lamp. But I can't just warrant my time to go around to fix one lamp. It sort of doesn't work like that. So in your tree of customers, there will be a few leaves that sort of grow, and you might get one job out of them. But then they'll think, bleeding hell, that was expensive. I have to pay Ben a lot of money. I'm going to call someone else next time. So that will die off and go and float away, which it doesn't matter. As long as you still stay friends with that person sort of thing, because the last thing you want to do is leave on bad terms. I think every customer, even if a customer says, yeah, I probably won't call you again, Ben, you're a bit expensive. Fine, don't worry about it, it's fine. But if you have any problems, you know you can call me, because it's happened before where someone's had an extension. It was a family member where they've had an extension done, and I've gone round and they said, I like his extension. Who did your electrics? This guy did it, but he didn't finish it off. Can you finish it off, Ben? Well, why didn't you call me in the first place? They said, because you're bleeding expensive. I said, I'm expensive for a reason. I turn up. Surely that's got to be worth the money to start with. And this is also where a lot of customers, they do become your friends in a way, and you keep in contact. Not the sort of time when they ring you up saying you're going out Saturday night to the pub, we can meet up. Not sort of friends like that. But it's nice to keep in contact with these customers, because people get new phones, they get new computers, they change their email, they change all sorts one day, and they might lose your number, forget your email, forget your business card. So it's good to keep their email address and email them sort of just a little reminder to say, hey, I've got these email now personally that I send out. Well, I used to send out, I say, because sometimes I don't send them out if I've got too much work on. I don't want to sort of get any more work in. I like my steady work. I don't want to be rushed off my head. So I send them out every now and again, maybe if I'm a little bit quiet, to say, hey, have you noticed that you can have your thermostat controlled wirelessly? And oh, that sounds good. And I've done a few Nest thermostats or Hive thermostats for people, or maybe let people know that, check out these new USB sockets. Would you like to install these? And these are email nails that I've sent out. There's going to be 10 templates that I'll leave in the description down below for you to check out, which I use all the time. And yeah, just repurpose them basically every year. It's like a newsletter basically to my customers, just to let them know that I'm still working as an electrician, and if they've had any electrical needs, because a lot of the time you'll send them an email saying about maybe a Hive thermostat, and they'll go, yeah, I'm not interested in that, but there is a bloody light gone flickering in the bathroom, and I was meaning to call you, Ben, but I couldn't find your number. You're like, nice one. So then they found your number, they'll call you up. Yeah, whilst you're here, replace a lot of them, because yeah, if one starts flickering, they're all going to go. And that's the thing. This is the great way that you keep in contact with your customers. You keep you fresh in their mind for a few little jobs to replace their bathroom light. And then also they'll go to work and say, electrician? I know a good electrician. Ben, we'll get hold of him. Yeah, here's his number. And this is the whole point. I call it a customer tree, because you can't just get that customer and assume that they're going to ring you for every electrical possibility that they're ever going to have. They're going to remember you and recommend you to their family and friends constantly. No, they won't. They'll forget. So this is why you need to water in that tree, in effect, and keep that maintenance on that tree, or maintenance on your customers. What I'm trying to say is to say, look, just keep them happy. Christmas lights. You could always recommend a Christmas light deal, because a lot of the times I get asked at Christmas, can you put my Christmas lights up? Not a problem, no worries, I can. Obviously, at a cost. But you go around, you put this Christmas lights up, and you can recommend what sort of Christmas lights people to have. The all fancy dancy ones that are red, yellow, blue, or a projector that goes inside someone's window with Santa unpacking the presents. Just little things like that I like to recommend, because people with families will think they're fantastic. And they have told me before, that was a great email, thank you for sending me that. And it keeps my name fresh in their mind as a good electrician, and a little bit of a friendly one too. But what we haven't talked about is what happens when things go wrong. Unfortunately, some things do go wrong. You might have put a supply to the kitchen that wasn't big enough for that oven. Sometimes you think, damn, I've made a mistake. Well, if this happens, hold your hands up. Say, look, I've made a mistake. I pulled in a 2.5 cable when it should have been a 6mm cable for your oven. You told me this, it was my fault. Hold your hands up. If it costs you a bit of money because you've got to put that fault right, then take it on the chin. This is the thing. If you need to keep that customer happy, because the last thing you want to do, I've heard of it before. I know a plumber that said, I ain't going back to change that. That's her fault. No, it's not. It's your fault. Because if she puts on social media that you're a rubbish plumber, then that's going to ruin your reputation. A reputation can take years to build and 5 seconds to ruin. I am not perfect. This has happened to me before. I was working in someone's house and putting an outside light up where I needed to access the inside garage sockets to put a spur in. I basically unplugged everything when I was testing. I unplugged the freezer and I didn't plug it back in. So they did phone me up a couple of days later and politely said, "Ben, did you unplug the freezer when you were in the garage?" I could have said, "No, it weren't me. I don't know what you're on about." No, denied all knowledge. But I didn't. I said, "Yes, I did. Has your food all defrosted?" I mean, yeah, unfortunately, it's all ruined. "Okay, fantastic." I said, "Go down to Tesco's, fill your trolley up, fill that freezer back up, and I will pay you whatever it costs." "You sure?" "Not a problem. Exactly my fault. I hold my hands up." They went down there and they filled the trolley up. Obviously, it was lucky for me that his wife worked at Tesco, so they probably got a discount. So that was a bit of a bonus. Yeah. So they went down Tesco's, filled their freezer back up, which I mistakenly let defrost, and that was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I've done no end of work for that guy over the time. The same customer. I even pop round there for a cup of coffee every now and again because he doesn't live far from me. He's become a good friend, I think, because he's got plenty of tools that I can borrow sometimes. And adapting this attitude into your business, that customers are like seeds, are like gold dust when you want to grow your business, it will save you any worry in the future of if you've ever become to a beginning of a week and thought, "I haven't got any work this week, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to generate any work up? How am I going to get out to customers?" This doesn't happen. Once you treat a customer fantastically and you get all this work, then it's non-stop. It continues to come in all the time. So that is my concept of the tree of customers. So this is your homework. Next time you go to a job, maybe daydream a little bit of, "I wonder who that guy knows or who that girl knows." Maybe the husband works for Alan Sugar. Maybe the husband works for somebody that can be recommended, someone famous maybe, anything like that. Someone that's building a property, a builder that's got 7 houses and is upset with the electrician, and they're going to call you. So you're going to get to wire these 7 houses, which will be a fantastic job. So just always think that there's more potential in every customer you meet. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. And if you think it's valuable information, then share it with every electrician you know. Because the more friendly the electricians are, and that will help them build their business basically to have more customers, reduce stress, gain back time. Basically, the main objective is earn more money. So make sure to like and subscribe this video, and I'll see you again on the next one.